Hello, and welcome to the 10th podcast of the Orthodoxy Transforming Spirituality series. In this podcast, our new information about the spiritual path is going to get very, very personal. In this podcast, we will begin to look at ourselves and who we are and what we are as human beings. Think of who you really are. Who are you? This is one of the most troubling questions the human race has ever explored. I think, therefore I am is fine. It's nearly cute. But just because you think and are, what are you? Thinking might point to the you, but where is the you? Where is you? In the mirror? Go look at the mirror if you like. What do you see? The real you? If that were so, the real you could easily be seen in a photograph. But photographs are never the real you. They are a very complex representation of your body in enough light to expose film. If someone tears up the image or breaks the mirror, have they broken you? Some people who are afraid of the spiritual path think these questions are irrelevant and get in the way of getting something done. They seem to imagine that I produce and am busy, therefore I am, is the fact. Yet many people who are physically incapacitated would disagree with their assessment. Are we less a you if we cannot produce or choose not to produce something for ourselves or someone else? Are we less of a you if we cannot think? Imagine the people who have suffered massive head injury and strokes. They cannot think, at least not like we can, but are they less? Do they not think and therefore they are not? Therefore, the idea, I think, therefore I am, is reduced to an optimistic, I think, therefore I think. Look at yourself. Are you your head? No. You might protest your head is part of you, part of what makes you up, yet if you lost part of your head, would there be less of a you? Now look at your leg. Is your leg you? You might imagine it as part of you, but if you lost a leg, would you still be you, or would you quit being? You could do the same thing with all your body parts. Your parts are not you. In fact, like the table we talked about in the last podcast, you are completely made up of not you parts. This is a very important spiritual principle to know and understand. You, me, the whole universe has no independent self. We are all made up of parts that are not us. For instance, I depend on not me air to live and not me water to continue to live, not me food, etc., etc. Where is the me? Where is the I? Look for it all day long and you will never find it. We have been told all our lives that we are an independent I people, that we are separate, that we are here, and the rest of the world is there. Yet, we all feel as if there is an I in there somewhere. Some people think their I is their soul or their spirit or some other invisible part of them. One woman I know thinks that her eye dwells between the center of her forehead, extending out about 3 inches. Yet when I asked her to please show it to me, of course she couldn't. Where do we get the idea that we exist apart from all of the non-we parts that make us up? The first time I thought of this question, I was terrified. I had fear run through my veins like ice. We have been trained since youth to understand yours, mine, theirs, ours, over there, over here. In actuality, we are all hard-pressed to show anyone the I that we so dearly defend. We say we have dreams. Well, what has dreams? Your non-you parts? Does your arm have a dream, or your eye, or your foot? You may think that these questions are silly, but they're not. Remember what spirituality is. It is observing the spirit of the matter, the heart of the matter, the truth of the matter. So asking questions that get to the spirit of who we really are some of the most profound questions of all. Now notice that we have not referenced a holy book or the Bible or some other scripture. All we are doing is investigating what we can see with our eyes and understand with our brains. We need to do this before we consult outside information that we cannot collect for ourselves. So where is the part of us not made up of non-part of us? Where is the I of us? Make this part of your meditation for a while. Think about it, quietly at the park while listening to music or some other meditation aid. But please, do think about it. And when you are speaking to someone else, ask yourself, what part of me is speaking to a part of them that appears to be listening? Yes, this is a dilemma, and finding the I is certainly a challenge. We will explore this matter further in the next podcast. Don't give up. Don't imagine that these questions are somehow irrelevant or silly. These questions are the same ones that have been asked by all mankind since we've been able to think. And we are doing one of the greatest things that we can do for ourselves by asking these very questions. Who am I? Where is my I? And why am I? We'll talk more about it in the next podcast.